If you don't want to see the new Cybermen design that was released in the recent teaser, then stop watching now. Also, this video contains spoilers for Doctor Who Series 12. Hello everybody, welcome to a very spontaneous video. I just finished doing 3 midterms and I found that there was something to talk about, so here we are. Let's talk about the new Cybermen design and their return and just all sorts of things really. So it's going to be a little bit unstructured. The first thing I want to touch on, because it's the more positive thing, is the Cybermen design itself. So this was released in a still-to-come Doctor Who Series 12 little video that was released earlier today. We saw this sort of updated design to the Cybermen, and at first I saw and I thought, oh, that's just the same design, isn't it? But it isn't. And it looks very modern, like a modernized version of the Cybermen from, I think, Earthshock, because they had sort of this slightly bulkier design with these things that go around their head. I don't know what they're called, like these handles. But it's growing on me. This design is really growing on me because I really did not like the Cybermen design from Nightmare in Silver and from the Series 8 finale. I thought it was a lesser version of what we had had previously, and it just really didn't do anything for me. It was way too, like, slim, and it was this kind of design that for some reason it just didn't feel right for the Cybermen to me. It felt like a little bit too mechanical, and the modern Cybermen are always mechanical, but those ones, like, specifically, they didn't use that as a strength. It was sort of this weird thing. It's kind of hard for me to articulate what I mean, but I didn't really enjoy it. But these ones, it's sort of possibly the best design of the modern series. Like I said, it's a little bit like Earthshock with the heads, and the design is a little bit different. And it is very, very similar in places to what we have already seen, but it's different enough that I just kind of like it. I think it's my favorite one that we've seen in the modern show. Oh, that's discounting the Series 10 finale, of course, because that one had this very classic Mondasian thing, which was really cool. But these ones themselves, yeah, there's just something about it, some quality to it that, I don't know, it just works for me. It doesn't... there's nothing really wrong with it. And at first glance, I didn't really like them, but then I was kind of looking at them for longer and longer, and I just found that, yeah, I really do like this Cybermen design. That's not the only thing there is to talk about, because when talking about Series 12, we already know there's going to be a lone Cyberman that shows up this series. We have seen what appears to be that lone Cyberman in the trailers already, and it's very interesting to me what they're actually going to be doing with this. I assume that is somehow going to lead into more Cybermen like we see in this still to come little teaser that was released. And I kind of have mixed feelings. So I'm just going to talk about it a little bit because I am genuinely excited for this lone Cyberman, but once we saw more of them within the still to come teaser, I couldn't help but feel, oh, that's a bit of a shame, you know? Just one Cyberman against the Doctor and company is a really cool thing to have, and I was really excited to see how that would play out. But if it's gonna end up leading to, or possibly result from, but that seems unlikely, if it is going to lead to a army of Cybermen, you know, more Cybermen, like we did see in this still to come teaser, then I'm not sure how to feel with that. I feel like that's less interesting to me, because we had the Doctor battling Cybermen, like an army of Cybermen, in the Doctor Falls when he was sonicking them and exploding them in this ridiculous fashion, and I love that episode, by the way. And then there was also a lot of Cybermen in Dark Water and Death in Heaven, although that one was a little different because there was not as much of a focus on the Cybermen. And the same thing with the Doctor Falls, there wasn't as much of a focus on them. They were a very important aspect of the story, but they weren't the main thing that was the threat. And we don't really know if that's going to be the case this time around. The Cybermen might be the main threat, or it might be like Fugitive of the Jadoon, where you go into it thinking this is a Cyberman story, and then you come out of it finding out, oh, it's whatever villain this time around. You know, it's something else, something bigger, which is kind of seeming like that's likely. It seems a little likely that they are going to focus that much on the Cybermen, although I think that would be really cool. Like, personally, I would love to see a bigger focus on these Cybermen this time around, because sometimes they do get a little pushed to the side. Even in Doomsday, for example, then, the Daleks are clearly shown as the more menacing ones and the ones that can easily just wipe out the Cybermen as pest control. So sometimes the Cybermen just, they get a little bit of the short end of the stick. And I'm hoping that this time around that's not the case, but if not, I'll still watch the story and judge it on its own merits. I'm just kind of hoping that this is going to be a really good Cybermen story. Otherwise, to me, I'm not sure that it will really justify bringing them back so soon, because that was one of my worries, was that we're bringing the Cybermen back after they just appeared 2 seasons ago, albeit, almost 3 years ago now, and then 2 seasons before that, which was about 3 years-ish before that, it's 2.5, whatever, and, bringing them back again, to me, felt like, oh, are we really doing this already? I just felt like we needed a bigger break. But if they can do really cool stuff with them, then I'm totally down for it, and I'm really excited to see what they do end up doing. I am excited, but I have my reservations, because if it turns out it's not actually a Cyberman story, well, it might end up feeling like a little bit of a waste. And I'm hoping that this lone Cyberman thing does end up being really interesting, because it's kind of really exciting to me. And also, this series does have this thing where the Doctor said the line that time is swirling around her, so that sort of hints at why possibly all of these things are coming for her, and why that, like, the Master's around, the Cybermen are around, all this stuff. It kind of hints at that, and I'm hoping that eventually we'll figure that out, and that kind of excites me, and that kind of does feel like, to some extent, it justifies why we're seeing all these returning villains. I'm excited. I'm really excited for the finale. I mean, they released the name, and the final episode is called The Timeless Children. Let me know what you think about the Cybermen returning and the design, and just if you have any thoughts at all, because I'd be interested to hear what you all have to say. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this series so far. I'm excited for the Cybermen to return, but I have some reservations. Those reservations that I've had going into the series have mostly been alleviated, not entirely, but mostly. So we'll see if that continues. Yeah. With that said, I hope to see you around soon for a little first impressions of the next episode of Doctor Who, Can You Hear Me? And of course, I will have a review out for Fugitive of the Judoon, hopefully Saturday morning, or afternoon if you're in the UK. And then hopefully a Praxis review following soon, and probably before that, I will have a review of a classic Doctor Who episode, The Underwater Menace, I think. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope to see you around for those, but if not, that's totally cool. Just know that I appreciate your time here today, and with that said, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and have a lovely week.